my YouTube site. What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Daily Refinement. Today, I'm going to give you guys the 3 reasons why your eBay store, your Amazon business, or your Poshmark, or your life is not growing. This is pretty basic. This is stuff from Mel Robbins and Tony Robbins, everybody that's been talking about self-improvement. These are the 3 reasons, in my opinion, why your business is not growing. So let me know in the chat if you guys can't hear me, but I'm just going to get straight into it. Reselling is not rocket science, nor is losing weight, nor is anything. It's basically just buying something for less money and listing it for sale for more money on any platform, eBay, Amazon, and then netting that profit. That's it. So these are the 3 reasons why you are not growing. The first reason is that something happened to you in your past that was abusive or negative. And this is like what every psychologist talks about. I'm not a psychologist. I'm not going to like prescribe you something, but something negative happened to you or abusive. And it is most of what you think about. And what happens to you is you become whatever you most think about. This is why people that are from abusive relationships abuse other people. This is why, kids that, just whatever happened to you in the past, if that's all you think about, then you're really likely to repeat that same concept. And I'll tell you, this is what has happened to me. For me, what was really uncomfortable growing up is always having money and financial problems. My entire life, that was all my family ever talked about. 90% of my upbringing was financial problems. Okay, so that being said, that's all I thought about. So for me, as my savings grows, it is extremely uncomfortable. I know that sounds super weird for most people. I mean, maybe not for most people, but for some people, I don't know if you get the same thing as me, but as things get better, it does not feel comfortable for me. I'm much more comfortable being broke, honestly. So that is not good, but you can't ignore this. What you need to do is actually move in the other direction. And you need to be respectful and grateful of whatever happened to you in the past. And you need to have that be a smaller chunk of your existence. You can't have that dominate your thinking, or you'll never get out of it. Okay. The next thing, this is maybe controversial, but I think the second reason why you're failing is you were not raised properly. And this sounds kind of ridiculous. I'm not talking about money. I'm talking about respect. Like if your parents respected themselves, took responsibility for themselves and all their actions, and never complained. And they taught you to never complain, take responsibility for yourself, and respect yourself. That is totally different. Okay. I meet people all the time that were raised differently, right? They respect themselves. They take responsibility for what they do. They never complain ever. And I'm like, that's not natural, right? When I look at the majority of people, they were not raised or incubated in the right atmosphere. They grew up in a situation where they did not respect themselves. The people around them did not respect themselves. Nobody was taking responsibility. Tons and tons of people complain. This is why Facebook, I just read an article yesterday, Facebook is declining because it's kind of a forum for people to complain. And Instagram is less geared for complaining, right? So it's not as popular because people like to complain, but I'm just thinking overall, that's not a good place to be. So I just want to change my thinking to respect myself fully, take responsibility for every single action that I take. And I think it's different. There are people I meet that were raised in that environment, and it's not weird for them to take their responsibility. But the majority of people were not. So I think if you are a great parent, in my opinion, you can somehow instill in your kids to respect themselves, really take care of themselves, take care of their things, take care of their bodies, everything. That is really hard to teach. So, and it's not 100%. I'm not putting that pressure all on the parents, but I'm just saying, as parents, if you can do that and your kids learn by looking at you, that's pretty dope. If you can be really, really awesome parents that never complain, take responsibility, and respect yourselves, your kids just have a better chance. And I don't know, I'm not a parent, but I'm just thinking of all the parents that I know parents that never complain, and their kids are totally different than the parents who are constantly complaining. So that's just me. I'm from Utah. 99.9% of my friends have at least 5 kids. So it's like that. I see this. Okay. So, and it's not, and for me, I live in the Bay Area where nobody has kids until they're like, mid 30s. So people here have kids in their mid 30s. Where I'm from, everybody has kids early 20s. It's very, very different. But I'm just saying, I know so many parents, and the parents that take advantage. I mean, the parents that show responsibility and respect themselves, their kids are so different. Okay. The third thing is negative self talk. So if you think you're lazy, if you think that, if you believe in your heart that you're lazy, then you're going to be lazy to make that come true because you're just going to become whatever you tell yourself that you are. So you have to start telling yourself a different story. And that's something that is important. Whatever the story is that you're telling yourself that you are, you need to slowly change that so that you can improve yourself. It's really important. Okay, so now here's the three things that you can do right now that can fix this. Okay, so the first thing is I think you need to tell yourself that it's going to be uncomfortable and hard before you start doing it instead of thinking that it's going to be passion. I actually don't think that that's true. There are some people that think that you can be passionate about something, but as an example, people who want to lose weight, it's not comfortable to eat less or eat more healthy and exercise more. It's not comfortable. It's hard to, I can understand becoming passionate, like learning how to like kickboxing or learning how to cook so that you can improve it. But regardless, it's going to be extremely uncomfortable. So I think you should tell yourself before you start, hey, this is going to be a little bit of a challenge. If you're a Navy SEAL, then you can be like, I embrace the things that I hate so that I can crush it. You don't need to be at that level. That's kind of insane, but that's the extreme version. And they're able to do like a 7 day week of hell week, sleeping 1 or 2 hours a day. So that's the capacity of the human mind and race, right? You don't need to push yourself to that limit, but I'm saying they put themselves through that so that they can be, adorned with that designation as a Navy SEAL or an Army Ranger. You have to push yourself to that level to understand what's possible. Okay. The second thing is stop trying to do it alone if you are broken. So, like, if you're broken, why would you spend time by yourself trying to fix it when you have already been sucking at this your entire life? This is a big hack for me. Instead of trying to figure it out by myself, which is not a good idea because I haven't been able to figure it out, why don't I just hang out with people who already know what they're doing, right? And I'm meeting people that can save 70% of their income, right? That's insane, right? I'm coming. This is coming from a family. My family, they saved negative 10% of their income. That means if my parents made $100, they would spend $110. Their entire lives, they were like that. So that's all I can think about growing up. So stop trying to do it alone with yourself. That's not how you change. I think you need to find people around you, join groups. If you want to work out, it's much easier to go to a yoga class or a spinning class every single morning at 6 than try to figure out your own workout plan and your own diet plan. Just do it with some other people. Okay. The last thing is I think this is the easiest way to level up. And I think that you guys should do this. This is the easiest way. You need physical evidence that you are improving. Okay. You're not going to believe it for yourself. Some people are not going to believe in Jesus until they meet him, right? So you need physical evidence to prove to yourself that you are not whatever your self story was before. If you didn't think you were good enough or you didn't respect yourself or whatever, you need to prove to yourself with something that you can see that you're improving. So, for example, you should get a journal or you should get a visual scoreboard is what Franklin Covey always teaches. Like that guy or that company, Franklin Covey talks about building a visual scoreboard. So if you have one of those calendars that you see on Instagram or you see on YouTube and people put like their goals, I don't care about the vision board. I think the vision board is good, but I like the action plan better. So it's like, okay, you don't work out at all right now. Let's work out one time this week. You don't list it all. Let's list at least one item every week, every single day. The last 2 weeks, I've been keeping track of every single item that I list. I've never kept track of that closely. Now I know to the item how many items I list every single day, and I haven't missed a day in probably, I want to say I haven't missed a day in 3 months, but I've only been recording like the last 14 days, the exact number of things I've been listing every single day. And so even yesterday, I was going to spend the entire day with my girlfriend. I listed 3 things as soon as I woke up to get it going, right? Just to get that habit of, and I can see it now. I can visually see and say, I am a person that lists every single day, and I average over 250 listings per day. I can say that, right? Because I can say that because I can see it. I know exactly how many things I'm doing every single week. Now, if I want to change my workout habits or waking up early, I can just start recording. What time did I wake up every single day? Right. And they say that if you want to lose weight, all you have to do is write down what you do every day and what you eat every day. What's up, Buffalo Shark Reseller? Thank you for the $20 super chat. I appreciate it. But yeah, I just think that most of us are stuck in this self-sabotaging situation where you believe whatever it is somebody told you or you told yourself. So you definitely do not want to be that. You want to start being, um, you want to talk to yourself more on what you want to be, and you need that evidence. Otherwise, you won't believe it. If you don't see that you're improving, you will not believe it. You'll just continue doing what you're doing before. So I recommend the 5 minute journal. I got those for all the people in my mastermind group. For the people in my group that haven't received it yet, I just had to order them wholesale. So as soon as they arrive, I will mail them out to you. But this is what I'm saying. Like, you can't change unless you physically see it. That's so important. And then stop doing it by yourself. Like that. This is why I'm saying it's so, like, when people say I want my son or daughter to marry into a good family, it's too vague, right? Like if I have, or hopefully I have kids soon, but when I have kids, I want them to marry people who take responsibility for themselves and don't complain. Those are like the most important things. As of right now on Instagram, every time I hear somebody complain, I almost instantly block them. They're like, well, I can't do it because of my situation, because whatever. I'm like eliminating that person from my Instagram or my YouTube because I don't have, that is the toxic stuff that has prevented me from becoming super successful in my life. And I don't want that kind of person like crowding my mentality. I'm just trying to think about, anytime you complain, it's just such a turn off to me right now because there's so many people in such a much worse situation than you. You're not allowed to complain, right? Um, but this is something that's also, this is also something that's really intense. I want to tell you guys. Once you start having success, people will say, "Well, good for you." And that's pretty much it. Crickets, right? But if you complain, you're like, "Oh, I'm having a really rough day." Your Instagram will blow up. So many people will be like, "Me too. My life's horrible. This sucks. This is bad. This is happening to me too." The thing is, that's kind of the opposite effect that you want, which means when you say something negative, you're reinforced. Like, everyone, you're getting all this hit of adrenaline in your brain. Like, yeah, me too. Yeah, me too. So you're feeling so much better when you complain, right? You feel better. But when you say that you're doing well, you do not get that. It's like 100 to 1. People will chime in if you're like, "Oh, it's crickets on eBay. Has anybody had a sale?" "No, I haven't. I haven't. I haven't." Like, there'll be a million things. But if it's like, "Hey, I killed it today," people will be like, "Well, yeah, easy for you to say." So it's the complete opposite reaction. You actually get negative reinforcement for posting that you're doing well, right? So this is why it's so interesting. When I used to work for Lexus, I did Facebook marketing, right? So I'd be like, "Hey, can we add you to Facebook?" And I would be adding people to Facebook. The average person that that buys a Lexus in the Bay Area, according to our survey, has a net worth of $1 million or more, and they're buying a $55,000 car. Okay, so well below their means, they have a net worth of $1 million or more. This is crazy. Maybe Loretta knows all about this, but like, if you have a net worth of $1 million or more, usually when I look at your Facebook, you have less than 30 friends. I know that sounds ridiculous, right? But we're talking about 30 friends. You know how low that is on Facebook? Like, people have thousands of friends that they don't know. They have tens of thousands of friends, if not hundreds of thousands of friends on Instagram or whatever, followers. And if the people, when I was selling them a car, I'd be like, "Hey, can we add you to Facebook?" They're like, "Sure." Or, "Can I add you to Facebook? Because I'm your salesperson and I want to like take care of you while you have the car." 30 friends. That's it. Hardly anybody. I just think that's really this amount of people that will actually say, "Great job. Your growth hasn't been easy. I've seen you grow over the last couple of years. It's been very hard. Great job. Keep going." But the peanut gallery, they're gonna they're gonna actually have the opposite reaction when you show progress. It's very odd. Um, but it's just gonna be very, very, very small, the amount of people who are gonna support you versus the people who will chime in. So don't get sucked into complaining, even though it feels really good, right? And this is something that I realized also on the opposite end. Somebody will say, "Hey, I can't do this," right? And I might say something like, "Oh, you could do it if you do this," and they're like, bro, I didn't ask you to fix me. I didn't ask you to find the solution. I asked you to listen to me complain and tell me something bad that happened to you. That's what they want. They don't want me to say, hey, you could fix that by not doing this, right? You could probably fix 99% of your problems if I gave you 200 grand, right? Most people's, unless like, this is why people say like, if you don't have a health problem, you don't have any problems, because you can fix almost anything except for a health problem. Most people, if like suddenly they deposited 200 grand to your bank account, you could solve most of your like basic stuff. And most of us can make that in a couple of years if you just work hard. Most of us can do that. I know Carlos wants me to deposit 200 grand to his bank account. And I'm just saying, this is just in my opinion, that's like the amount when they say that, okay, they're saying like at 75 grand, you get most of the happiness that you want. I don't think that that's true. I've made 200 grand before and I've made 75 grand before. I'm way happier making 200 grand. I know it sounds weird, but I'm way more happy making 200 grand than 75 grand. I don't know who wrote that study. I just don't. It's totally different having six figures in savings versus not having any savings. It's not even close to the same. Let's see here. Growth Mindset by Carol Dweck is a great book. So like if you're focused on improvement, it's just lonely and quiet when you're saying like, hey, I did well today. It is so quiet compared to complaining. But again, Steph is saying, or I'm not sure, somebody in the chat is talking about you need to focus on positivity. I don't necessarily agree with that either. Positivity is good, better than negativity, but focus on your actual improvement. So like you listed 10 last week. This week you listed 11. I have to shout out Lauren in my mastermind group because she is the bomb. So she was listing 50 items when she entered my group per week. Okay, 50. And you know what her goal was the next week? 51. Okay, 51. The next week, 52. And she has increased one item every single week. And she's super confident. And her self-worth is growing every single week because she's doing a realistic growth. After a year of that, that's 100 items a week. She basically doubled her business in 1 year, which is amazing considering she still has a full-time job. But the thing is, instead of like most dudes that come into my group, they're listing 50 a week, right? And they're like, I want to list 500 a week. And I'm like, bro, you're not going to be able to go from 50 to 500 in 1 week. And they're like, I can do it. All I have to do is hire 10 people. And I'm like, bro, I get that. I get it. Trust me. I am like that too, but that's not how it works. Like, and what happens is the reason why you set your goal 500 a week is because you have low self-confidence. That sounds weird, but you actually think really little of yourself. You don't respect yourself because you're setting your goal not to a not achievable amount right away. You're setting that's the same as setting no goal, right? But if you were to say I'm going to go from 50 to 60, now you got to get the work. You've got to write down like, how am I going to do 10 more than I did last week? You're going to have to write it down, fix your schedule, wake up earlier, drink more water, stop having a martini in the afternoon to do that, right? But if you set your goals so high, it doesn't work. Or if you set your goals too low, like hopefully I can list one a day. That's okay to get started. But like, why are you setting your goals that low? You should set it to at least so it's a little bit challenging. I don't know. That's just my opinion. It's about action. But again, this is true. So it's about action. But in order to prove to yourself that you don't suck, you need to see the improvement. So you have to write it down. You have to write down the entire thing. I'm obsessed right now with figuring out how much profit I make each day. I want to know every day. I'm not going to wait to the end of the year. I'm not going to wait to the end of the month or week. I want to know every day how much profit do I make. I just posted that on my Instagram yesterday. I listed 3 items. And I like that. I woke up and I was like, I want to just continue this listing streak forever. They were talking about, Jerry Seinfeld said that he had this chain. The way he became a good comedian is he wrote one bad joke every single day, right? And he wrote it down on a calendar, and every day he wrote a bad joke, he would cross off the X. Later, when asked about that, he's like, I'm not sure why they credited that to me because I don't actually do that. But he got credit for it, even though he didn't actually do it. But it doesn't matter. The point is that would work, right? If you saw yourself Mark an X on your calendar every day you accomplish your goal. Why would you want to break that chain? You'd be like, no, sorry, it's 11:48. I better go for a run around the block so I can knock out that X. And I just think that that's super key. If you don't see it, you're not going to believe it. The mic that I'm using is a Samson G Track. There's also the what's it called? Blue Snowball, I think, or Snowball mic. I don't know why it's called a Snowball mic if it's black. It should be called the Blackberry. Make a daily power list. I like it. But the thing is, the daily power list is good, but it didn't work for me as well as the actual what did I do day by day by day by day. That is awesome. Laura, thank you for the $10 super chat. Appreciate it. But yeah, so just as a review for the people who are just joining late, the three things that are preventing you from growing your store is something in your past happened to you that was negative and you think about that too much. So like you were abused somehow and now you think about that all day. So now you abuse yourself or you abuse your kids or you abuse your dog. So get rid of that by adding a respect or gratefulness to that, which is kind of hurt because like, how are you grateful for someone that hurt you? Right? That's really hard. And I got that from the guy that I always look at for this is CT Fletcher. His dad used to hurt him all the time. And then he became grateful for that somehow through all that pain. He was like, I'm grateful for it. It made me who I am. Then it fixed him. He was fine. He stopped thinking about it. The next thing was you weren't raised properly. So nobody around you respects themselves, takes responsibility for their actions, or you're around people who complain. And that is very toxic. And so my opinion of you being a good parent is overcoming all odds to teach your kids to respect themselves, take responsibility for their own actions. That is probably way harder than it sounds. I'm sure that it is for all the parents that are listening right now, but that's what I want, right? I want to somehow get, as a parent, my future, I really want to get my kids to respect themselves and respect others. Like there are kids that are like, they don't do stuff because they don't want it to hurt themselves or their future. That's amazing. I don't know how you create a kid like that. Okay, and the third thing is that you have negative self-talk. So you say, I'm lazy. Deep down inside, you think you're lazy. So instead of working, you're lazy so that you can prove that thought of yourself correct. But if you say to yourself, I do things every day, even if they're uncomfortable, so I can get what I want, over and over and over again, then when you wake up, how do you say, I'm the kind of person that does what they want instead of that I'm the kind of person that does what they want, even if they're uncomfortable? You say that as loud as you can. You yell that, and then you go back to sleep. No, that's not going to work. You can't say in the morning, I'm going to kill today. I'm going to take advantage of it. I'm going to go to the gym right now, even though I don't want to, and then go back to sleep. This doesn't work that way. You're going to get out of bed and go do it. Okay, and the three things you can do to fix it are let yourself know that it's going to be uncomfortable, which I think is important because you're not going to get onto it and feel good. It's going to feel weird or uncomfortable. So tell yourself that it's going to be that instead of thinking that it's going to be roses. It's not going to be roses. It's going to be thorny. The next thing is stop trying to fix yourself by yourself. You are broken. I'm broken. I'm not going to try to fix myself with me. I'm much more accountable to other people. I would rather show up. This is why Mike Birbiglia, one of my favorite comedians, he has an appointment at 7 a.m. that he shows up to every day, but the appointment is with himself. But he's like, I'm so dumb in the morning when I wake up, I don't realize that the appointment I have at 7 o'clock is with myself. But when I get there to Starbucks, they have the seat ready for me. And I get there and I write at least one bad joke. And that's why I'm a successful comedian, because I never miss that meeting with myself. But he's not even he's it written down, appointment with Mike, even though he's Mike. He's more accountable to a fake version of himself than he is to himself. So he hacked himself. He knows himself well. So that's important to you. That's why people talk about creating an alter ego, whatever. Just stop trying to do it by yourself because you suck at getting what your future self wants because you are your current self. Okay. The last thing is you need physical evidence that you are improving. Okay. So if you are not physically seeing that you're improving, you don't do it. This is why Brandon Carter, one of my favorite fitness guys, he's like, he's a fitness kid. So people will email him, hey, I ate a salad today. And he'll email back, congratulations, you have accomplished nothing. Nothing. You eating a salad and water today does nothing. Zero. Negative, because you even took the time to write this email to me. It's completely worthless. That's just nothing to do with, like, and the thing is, you can't see any change from eating a salad or water. It doesn't do anything, right? But this is why people get addicted, in my opinion, to weight loss. You'll see people lose 150 pounds because they can see the progress, right? They work out for 6 weeks and they lose an inch off their pants. None of their pants fit. And they're like, oh, wow, this is legit. And then they keep going and they keep going until they're skinny, right? But then if you look at these weight loss shows, if this negative self-talk starts creeping back in again, and inside they're a fat person, they re-become that person again. So like, your self-talk is important, but on those shows, you have the doctors, you have personal trainers, you have all these people whose job is to make sure you lose weight so that the TV show is successful, right? And as soon as it turns off, you go back to whatever. Like, one last example of this, and I really gotta get some work done before the day gets too late, is like Susan Boyle, the lady who used to sing opera, right? She was super famous, and now you can like see her gambling at the street corner, betting on horses, even though she's rich or whatever, because her old self is still the same. So I don't know. Let's see if you guys have any questions. Andrew says this is inspirational. Hopefully it's inspirational, because I'm uncomfortable having money. That's why I usually don't have money. So I'm trying to fix that. I'm trying to become more comfortable with it. But my entire life, it's not been like that. Like I said, my parents spent $110 of every 100 they made their entire life. Okay, so that's how they lived. And that is the situation that was like literally ingrained into me. The first 19 years of living at home, that's all I learned, right? So now I have to undo years of that. Self-fulfilling prophecy. Your mind will give you exactly what you tell it. So if you think that you're lazy, you will be lazy. You have to wake up in the morning, and your morning self is not going to want to do anything. And somehow it's going to have to say, this is who you are, go do it. And this is who you are, go do it. And this is what you've been doing right there. If you could wake up like a video game and it was like, ding, this is where you're at. This is where you said you want to be. All you need to do is move slightly closer. It'd be much easier. So somebody invent that. How much time do I devote to making these changes every day? All day, every day, I'm making these changes. But the thing is, the thing that changed me the most was recording it, right? That post, go to look at my Instagram. I recorded exactly how many items I listed every day and exact profit and loss. So like, that's it. All I have to do is improve that every single week and it'll be fine. Your husband and I are dealing with the same thing, trying to learn how to deal with success. Agreed. So this is why most lottery winners go back to being poor within a couple of years, because they have broke mindsets. And so that's why I don't think you should try to fix it by yourself. Stop trying to fix it by yourself when you're the problem. You're the problem. Stop trying to fix it with the problem. It doesn't make sense. It's like trying to avoid being an alcoholic at the bar. Don't do that. Reach higher by conquering mountains one rock at a time. Agreed, but not a mental rock. A physical thing that you did that you can see yourself doing. That's gonna be the future. All right, guys. Hopefully, can you guys please hit the like button? I'm gonna go do some work. I appreciate you guys stopping by. I'm gonna be on Luke Endless Entrepreneurs channel at 11 o'clock. We're gonna be talking about processes. To give you an idea of what that show is gonna look like, real quick, just to plug our new jam. eBay and Amazon and Poshmark, whatever, is just one long stream of events, like getting stuff, prepping it, photographing it, listing it. It's just one long conveyor belt of stuff that you need to do. And so each week on Sunday, we're going to take 3 parts of it and just talk about how we want to make it better, and then try to do it that week, and then report back, how did our progress go the last week. Luke's going to be my accountability partner in improving my processes, improve it each way. And if you guys haven't subscribed on YouTube and you're on Instagram right now, go over there and sign up. If you guys want to get a store review, sign up for one. I'll give you a second opinion on what I think of your store. If you want to learn Poshmark, let me know, because Poshmark is the exact same thing as eBay. It's the exact same thing, except for the sharing part. The social part is interesting. But I do think that because of that social element, you are going to get higher prices. So you get paid for doing it. So if your hurdle for starting Poshmark is I don't want to do the social part, just realize you are being compensated for that work by creating a relationship with the customer. They will pay more because you actually know them. You can see their physical face. It's not just their you can see their face, their Instagram, their Facebook, their Twitter, their Pinterest. You get to know that person. Of course, they're going to pay more. You're going to pay more from your cousin or from me, probably your cousin, or maybe you're going to ask your cousin to do it for free if you're cheap. But don't be cheap. Last thought before I jump off is rich people buy time, poor people save money. I don't fully grasp that, but I'm trying to figure out how to get more time in my day. And the way that I'm doing that is I never say I don't have time. I'm not saying that anymore. Because if you say you don't have time, you don't have time. So I have unlimited time. I have all the time in the world. I choose the exact 24 hours I want to live. I have complete control of my time. I was going to swear, but I don't want to demonetize my YouTube channel. Every time you say a swear word, they cut off your income. So super hack for the people who want to start a channel. The only thing that you need to do to make your channel work is have the content be good. You don't need good production. My channel is potato quality, right? I don't know how to do any of it. I don't know how to edit, and it still makes a legitimate income because the content, I spend time writing out what I'm going to say before I say it. So like here on Instagram, I'm gonna show you guys real quick. I actually outlined, you guys can't see this on YouTube, but I outlined exactly what I was gonna say before I said it so that you guys don't have to like struggle. And I used to post these in the description, and I may still do that because it's more interesting. But anyway, thanks guys for stopping by. Have a great Sunday. I'll see you guys soon. Bye.